No, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not asking for a show of hands, but I bet that statistic is a surprise to a lot of us here, right? And this book, which is a wonderful book, Sex and World Peace, uses a great image, which is a bird having two wings, and if one wing is broken, the bird can't fly. So if the female half of the human race is not as safe as and in balance with the male half, you can't fly. And it also points out that the best indicator of whether there will be violence inside a country, in the streets and so on, or whether that country will be willing to use military violence against another country, is actually not poverty, not access to natural resources, not religion or even degree of democracy. It's violence against females. Not because female life is any more important than male life, it's not, but because it's what we see first. It's what in the family and in the house, the whole idea that it's okay for one group to dominate the other is normalized by that. So it's important not only to females per se, but to everybody, that we look at the microcosm of violence that is, and sexualized violence in war zones, and for all these reasons, that we are no longer half the human race.
Crazy. I mean, I often get asked, with regards to gender equality, I mean, really, in the face of terrorism and war and poverty and climate change, is gender equality really, is that really what we should be talking about when these awful things are going on around the world? And I have my own answer, but I'm interested in yours. It often gets pushed down to the bottom of the agenda. Oh, we'll figure this out, and then when things are better, we'll address the issue of gender inequality. Why do you think it should be?
Because it's the basis of all those other things. Excuse me? It's what normalizes domination earliest in life. It's what has created the bullshit idea that there's feminine and masculine. Hello, there's human, and men who have, through no fault of theirs, been born into this, come to feel that they have to prove their masculinity, especially by superiority to women, but also by superiority to other men. The single biggest root cause of global warming is forcing women to have children they don't want, and increasing population beyond. If you let women decide whether and when to have children, it evens out just slightly over replacement level. Wherever I know of in the world that women have been, because it's a health issue. It's your body, it's a health issue. And forcing women to have children they don't want, which much of the world is doing, is the biggest cause of global warming. There's not one single thing on that list that isn't fundamentally about the status of half the human race versus the other half. What do you say when they say it? Mine is a little long. Okay.
Well, I try and soundbite it, which is really just to say what you said at the very beginning, which is that all of these issues I see as being, or I keep learning over and over and over again, are directly linked to and caused by these other issues. And they're intrinsically connected and linked, and they have to be part of the conversation. I mean, how different would the world be if there were women involved in peacekeeping and in treaties and, in those negotiations? I think they would be really, really different if we had women involved. I just do.
Yeah,
I think we're really good at
it's
that.
not that we're so wonderful, we're not, but we don't have our masculinity to prove. That the Irish peace women, or that the women's movement in Liberia was able to make, it's just true. It's absolutely true that there is a better statistical chance I mean, all the studies show that if you put men together at a table, they will choose the most aggressive role, even if it's wrong. And if you put all the women, only women together at a table, they will choose the most conciliatory, even if it's wrong. So we need each other, you know, in order to have all of the...
You need a balance of the two. You need a balance of both. Yeah.
I think you should get madder at those people who ask you that.
Okay. I'll try that. It's interesting, speaking about anger, which we're told is not feminine, and, you know, I think you talk about in My Life on the Road, that's one of my favourite anecdotes, which is that when you get really angry, you start to cry, and I do the same thing. That's really embarrassing and really annoying, and I loved how, and you also talked to Lena Dunham about this in Lenny, and I loved how you said that, you know, what we should strive to do is to say, I'm crying because I'm angry, not because I'm sad. Don't confuse the two, and, well, I'm sure there's a little bit of both in there as well, but I'm curious whether you have actually managed to pull this off in your own
I have
life.
to confess that I haven't.
I need you.
No, but I am going to. The woman who told me that was an executive in an all-male situation, and she also cried when she got angry. I bet there are lots of people here who write this. Right, okay. I think it's because we hold it in for so long, and then when we finally let it out, it's like a loss of control. And she figured out that she should just talk through it.
Yeah.
And to all her male colleagues, you may think I am sad. No.
My face is saying one thing, but it means something different.
This is the way I get mad. And she says it works.
Yeah.
All right. So I am absolutely going to try it. I mean, so far I haven't been in that situation where I've had to keep going.
Yeah.
Because I don't work in her kind of situation, but I'm going to do it. We should both take the pledge.
We should, because it's interesting. I did a scene recently for a director where we were there was like improvisation involved and whatever else, and so my character was meant to cry in this scene. And about halfway through, he came up to me and he said, "Why do you keep apologizing after you start crying? It's not in the script, and like, why are you doing that?" And I was like, I don't know. For me, that's such a natural thing, is to start immediately apologizing to whoever I am that I'm kind of expressing this emotion. So maybe if there were less shame around the crying, connecting.
Yes, why is there shame around crying, exactly? I mean, I think that people who are watching a horrific event and don't cry ought to explain why.